Lynn Cullen live in 1 minute. Welcome to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com. Email your questions and comments to Lynn at pghcitypaper.com.
Hello, and welcome to the program. It's a beautiful but cold Tuesday in Pittsburgh, PA. And I said Tuesday, so that means my sister, Susan, is joining us. Hi, Suze.
Hello.
Hello. So, the World Series starts tomorrow?
The World Series starts tomorrow.
Yeah, I was thinking actually it's probably is just as well that the Pirates aren't in it, because if the World Series were happening and we were in it, I mean, it's supposed to snow Thursday here. It's too cold to have the World Series.
Well, people have this conversation every year.
What? How cold it can
be? That it goes on a little bit too long weather-wise.
Yeah. But I'm behind you, and I wish.
Yeah, our brother isn't. He said he sent me an email. Who can root for the Cardinals? They're just like the Yankees.
Oh, you mean you've had it too many times?
Well, I pointed out that no, we aren't just like the Yankees, because we don't buy our team. We farm our team.
Well,
we grow our teams, and that's why we're sort of consistent. I mean, it's no mystery. It's real old-fashioned baseball.
Right. I think so. I mean, I don't know why I have a visceral dislike for all Boston sports teams. I just do. So I ain't rooting for them. I'm definitely rooting for you. I might have had a little trouble if Detroit had been in.
Right.
I think I would have had trouble, actually, because I love their manager who retired yesterday, Jim Leland, and I wouldn't. I just could not root against him, unless, of course, we were playing him. So, Susan, somebody said, this is so unbelievable. Today is a day. It is what, October 22nd, 2013. Now, someone just sent me something that is so funny. Do you remember when we actually, when 1984 actually happened? Remember? I mean, when...
Yes, I do remember that.
And how mind-blowing it was, because we're in 1984, and in some ways it was sort of like it, but it was, I mean, that when Orwell picked that date, it seemed so far away.
Right, and here we are, but we finally made it?
No, there is another, it's not a book, it's a movie, but it's a movie with, that I think most people probably have seen, and it's well loved, and it had a date in it. It was a time travel kind of a movie. And the date in that movie is today, October 21st, 2013. That is the day that Marty McFly arrives in when he travels to the future.
You're kidding.
In Back to the Future. It's today. Isn't that weird? Did you ever...
Yeah.
Well, okay.
But it makes sense, because I'm as old as his parents were, when he gets there.
Jeez. today is the day. And somebody sent me a picture. Thank you, Tom. Somebody sent me a picture of, there he is, and there's the clock, and it's ticking, and it's October 21, 2013 at 4 o'clock in the morning or something. Oh, my God. So there it is. If you bump into Marty McFly, I would immediately check into Western Psychiatric. Can you imagine? Okay, Suze, we'll stop. Speaking of Western Psych, Western Psych is part of the behemoth known as UPMC here, which stands for University of Pittsburgh Medical Center, but UPMC is the leading, it's the behemoth here, and no one likes it. We hate them. We hate their guts. They're trying to take over they're trying to force out every other hospital. Have done very well. There's only one left, essentially, standing that can keep them from having a monopoly in the entire western part of the state. And this is a nonprofit that pays its CEO millions and millions of dollars. That has it is. I don't know. Perhaps over the years you've heard me rant about it. I don't know. The city of Pittsburgh is finally suing UPMC because even though it is worth mega gazillions, it pays next to none, property taxes. And yet it controls an extraordinary amount of property in the city. It's just amazing. If you look at the part of the city called Oakland, where Carnegie Mellon is and Pitt is, and all the tons of hospitals and all of that.
Right. So they sap up all the services and they contribute nothing.
Next to nothing.
Right.
And because they're a charity. Well, it's pretty hard to take that this super rich thing is a charity. It behaves like a rapacious monopolist, and if in fact it dispenses health care, yes, but that doesn't seem to have a lot to do with their business model. Anyway, so the city is suing them and saying, you really, come on. Calling you a charity is an absurdity. So there was a hearing yesterday in front of a judge here, one of the first hearings in this lawsuit, which will probably go on for the next 500 years. And UPMC, the behemoth, actually with a straight face said that we do not have any employees. In all their posturing, they always tell us that they are the largest employer in southwestern Pennsylvania. And in fact, they are. I think they're the largest.
How could they even say they had no employees?
Oh, Susan, you went to law school. They claim their subsidiaries do all hiring, allowing UPMC to remain tax exempt. So in other words, they would say that Shadyside Hospital hires, and this one hires, but UPMC, the overall thing, has 0 employees. And so I guess a question was asked of the judge, like, well, okay, so who employed the CEO? Which entity? Who? The CEO? Where does he, get his paycheck? And the attorney was flummoxed. I don't know who hired we do not have employees. We do not have employees. They have about 55,000 employees. But it just seems that everything they say, they do, just creates more ill
will.
I don't know.
Corporate fictions, starting from the one we always talk about like why a corporation is a person, which were designed to help people. It's all been turned against us.
Yes. So
it's much the same when I sat in my home last year listening to a guy who I knew after a lot of happiness was going to ask us to leave something to Washington University in our wills. And I smiled at him and I said, you might want to talk to my husband because Washington University is about the last place I'd leave my money. They don't need my money. They've got $1 billion endowment, and they're buying up all the apartments in this vibrant little sort of hippie area of the adjacent little city, University City. And what they are doing is the same thing, masquerading like corporate, like community do-gooders, and they are strangling the community of the funds that it needs to school its children, to actually perform its services.
Because they pay no...
Because right.
They pay no property.
They're a not-for-profit with their $1 billion endowment, or they have some, their education, something that takes them off the books.
It's beyond belief. This is where the law... as Dickens said, the law is an ass. This is where you can't even... this is why there's all those lawyer jokes. This is why, Judge Weddick says, question, does UPMC have any employees? I've been told in discovery that they don't. William Petrogallo, the attorney representing UPMC, they do not, Your Honor. With a straight face. They do not. So this is how that's going to go. It's going to go on and on and on, and the city is going to pay a lot of money.
No, they just have a board of directors, and they are the corporate owner of subsidiaries which do have employees. But then, I'd like to know. But the charity holds all of the assets. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well,
somehow that charity's assets are paying people in their subsidiaries. Follow the money, and you blow the myth.
Exactly. Oh no, Joe just says. That's not the right date for Back to the Future. Never mind. Okay, somebody looked it up on Snopes. Today is the future date to which Marty McFly traveled in Back to the Future Part 2. Snopes says, false. There are doctored images being posted on Facebook. Oh, come on! From Back to the Future showing the future date set today. Or something. Viewers continue to be fooled. This has happened before by the same old prank. In July 2012, images were circulated purportedly showing July 11th, 2012. The Back to the Future Day hoax has been perpetrated against the internet yet again. So that's what's happened. So what was the actual date?
See, if there were an actual date.
Well, wait. No. What is the actual date?
I don't know. Somebody Google what is the actual date.
They keep saying how we keep getting duped, but then what's the actual damn date? Do they ever really show the date in the movie?
Well, that's what I'm suggesting, that they don't, because that dates the movie, duh.
It dates the movie, right. Well, here, Colette has it. Checked it out on Snopes Days. I was going around to October 21st, 2015. Oh, big deal. It's all of 2 years away. 30 years back and 30 years forward from 1985, which is when the movie came out. So they do have a date. And most of us, I guess. Okay, so, God, you guys, you're all on it. Everybody is on.
Well, that's what I was thinking. That's why I was saying that makes sense, because I'm the age, forward, and that was about 30 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, this is funny. Laura just checked out UPMC's website, and she said, "This is funny. Their website has a job section, UPMC Careers. If you have no employees, how can you have UPMC Careers?"
Well, and that's part of it. That's their problem, because they can say in actuality we don't. This is how we hold all this stuff. But that's not how they're projecting themselves to the world. Well, that's not how they're publicly holding themselves out. And at some point, we have a right to rely on that information. You can't present yourself one way in print publicly, and then go into court and say, "But that's really not the truth."
Oh, Susan, you see, that issue did come up because. And they actually said, they parsed it. They said there's a difference because what we say for essentially public relations, here it is. For public relations.
We get to misrepresent.
Yes.
We get to not only misrepresent, but materially misrepresent.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they don't.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. They think,
They don't.
Okay.
Period.
Listen to their lawyer. He says there's no contradiction when UPMC claims it employs 55,000 people in marketing materials, and yet in court says they employ no one. And what they say is, well, I mean, my God, we're talking about public relations materials. I mean, they essentially are saying, the stuff that we lie in. That's right. That's what they say. I'm trying to find the exact quote. Where essentially, that's what they said. No, that's marketing, that's public relations, and so that, of course, does not have to be true.
Right. That's the Fox News approach to life.
Oh my God! How? So, I mean, even if this kind of legalistic crapola does have standing, so the city then has to sue every entity. So then the city would have to have 26, 27 different suits.
No bullshit. They just join them all in the same suit. The court has no interest in being tied up like that. No. They might have to amend the filing and include all of the subsidiaries, but I would be very surprised if they hadn't included the subsidiaries to begin with. They should have.
Listen to this. It wasn't the first time UPMC attempted to claim it has no employees. They're shameless. Earlier this year, when UPMC faced 80 complaints of unfair labor practices, it argued that it was only a holding company and did not technically employ any of the people who were complaining. The complainants alleged that UPMC employees were being punished for attempting to unionize. Anyway, of course, UPMC ultimately settled that claim. I mean, it goes nowhere, but this is how they just keep pushing back, so that it reminds me of the Bleak House, the Charles Dickens book. UPMC's, they say it here, Laura. UPMC's website and media releases say the hospital giant employs about 55,000 people. And when UPMC made the top rankings in the U.S. News and World Report Best Hospitals, it did so as a conglomeration of several facilities. And now attorneys are now arguing those are all separate entities. Their attorney sees no contradiction, Susan, when UPMC claims it employs 55,000 people in marketing materials, but not in court. Oh, I think I already told you. I mean, this is...
No. I mean, of course, I'm sure that's what they're arguing, but that doesn't mean that that's what they're going to prevail on.
Anyway, the judge said I can't go on with it this way, so the city now is filing an amended complaint.
Yeah, well, they'll just join everybody.
God.
But, they should have done that to begin with.
Probably. Trying to fight a behemoth like this when you're a, cash-strapped city is pretty damn hard. And I suppose these are the kind of tactics that a behemoth would use.
Well, of course, and if, as you point out, they saw how they used exactly that same tactic previously
with the unions.
The attorney should have been prepared for that.
Oh God! So the judge in this case is my neighbor, and he's the one who I make fun of because of the way he drives. And I get so annoyed if I find myself behind him in the morning, which I sometimes do because I'm always, running like a bat out of hell. And he drives like a little old lady. He stops at every stop sign, full stop. And then you see him. He's real tall, and he's in this little car. And he looks left, and he looks right, and he looks left. And I'm sitting behind him screaming, "Go! For God's sakes, go!" And then he goes very slowly, very slowly. Oh, my God.
I know. I was following someone today that I was doing exactly the same thing, so it's clearly genetic. But anyway, I was thinking, I know that there's a speed limit sign up here. It's going to say 45. It was a guy in his Jeep. He was going 30.
Okay, so when he saw the 45, that's a limit, Susan. That doesn't mean you have to go 45.
No, but I thought he would, I thought maybe he thinks he's in a 30-mile-an-hour zone or something.
Yes, but that wasn't it.
No.
He just wasn't in a hurry.
No. And he didn't care that there was a line a half mile long behind him.
There have been a few times in my life where I was in some kind of a laid-back mood, which, of course, rarely happens, but I was. And I would be and I'm in a car, and I am driving, and I am in no hurry. And I actually am going, like, sort of the speed limit, and I'm looking around. And it has occurred to me when that happens that I have thought, oh, this is what those people who drive me crazy
but
do.
let's rewind that tape a little bit. You're saying that you were just in this relaxed sort of, let's go for a nice drive. You were just sort of going,
really.
like the speed limit.
Right.
Well, going the speed limit is appropriate. You can't be angry at people for actually going the speed limit.
Oh, yeah,
you can be angry at people for going 15 miles below the speed limit. All you're saying is that your natural speed is at least 9 miles above the speed limit.
At least.
At least.
I can't help it.
I try and hold it to 9 because usually
that's not,
there isn't a fine for that.
You think that's the cutoff? I don't know what it is. I don't think anyone gets stopped in this city for speeding. Because I've been speeding here for 30 years, I've never gotten a ticket. I've noticed that depending on there are certain places where you can always get speeding tickets. But I used to be able to get out of them, and I have clearly out-aged that, or aged out. Yeah. Oh, Dorothea writes, I think of UPMC much like I think of the Republicans. They've destroyed their brand. They are shameless, and they'll try to squash anyone who gets in their way. That's pretty much it. Except the Republicans might actually truly have destroyed themselves or in the process of it. UPMC ain't going to go anywhere. I mean, they own the town, although they don't employ anybody. Jerks. Hey, so their CEO gets millions and millions and millions. And did you see the Pope summon this German, is he a cardinal or an archbishop or somebody, who is renowned for, spending unbelievable amounts of money. He spent $42 million to build himself a new house.
Oh, my goodness.
This is a German bishop. And, this Pope is not into that kind of ostentation. So he has, I guess, the guy is having to go and be called on the carpet. He also, it is said, flew business class to India to visit the poor. Well, I can see doing that.
Well, yeah, he should. You think he'll make the bishop sell the house?
Well, I don't know. The money's already. Well, yeah, he could sell it.
He could say sell that house. Not fitting. Can I report on the fact that I made it all the way through to enrollment online last week?
Yes. You know what? Let's take a break, and then I want to, because last week you told us that you had, in fact, gone online and you got on the federal exchange, which is the one that everybody's squawking about, and
right.
And it's acknowledged that obviously something's wrong, and you apparently are the only person in the country, Susan, who has
that not only got on once and got on twice, and the second time I took it all the way through in about an hour and a half. But go to a break and I'll tell you all about it.
Okay. So by the way, wait. No, I just want to know this. Did you find something better than what you have?
No.
Okay, we'll take a break.
But there's a reason for that.
Okay. No, we'll be back.
More is on the way with Lynn Cullen Live.
Come to Little's for all of your back-to-school needs. Little's has everything for all ages to stay in style for this upcoming school season. Check out the large selection from Doc Marten, Steve Madden, UGG, Clark's, Lely Kelly, New Balance, and much, much more. Don't forget to come visit this season's colorful handbag selection as well. Little Shoes, Pittsburgh's largest family shoe store, 5850 Forbes Avenue in Squirrel Hill.
Go to the all-new bergbargains.com for the best deals on gift cards from your favorite local restaurants, bars, museums, attractions, and shows. Log on for great deals from Best of Pittsburgh 2013 winners. Sign up for the weekly email for your chance to win $100 in services from the Swickley Spa. The all-new bergbargains.com, Pittsburgh's best bargains, bergbargains.com.
Have a question or an opinion? Call Lynn Cullen at 412-316-3381 or email lynn at pghcitypaper.com. Now, more with Lynn Cullen Live.
Okay, well, even the president yesterday acknowledged that he's mad and that this website was not set up in a terribly user-friendly way or something. But Susan, you did manage to get through it, and
I got on twice. I will admit that each time I was on very early in the morning, about 6:30 in the morning. And as I think I said last week, this website is so. I mean, all I can say is it was probably designed by old people, because no young, self-respecting young person would have. Everything about it is counterintuitive. What you don't know that you're to scroll down. You don't know when when they send you something you can't necessarily look at. I couldn't open a PDF that said that I was that we were eligible, which is the first step. They have to declare you eligible. But I sent it on to my son and told him to open it on his PC. He opened it and forwarded it to me back, and then I saw, oh, okay, I could have just skipped that part and gone down, but I didn't even know. And then it just says there's a place to, choose a health plan, and there's a big red bar, and that's lit up, and it says set. Now, to me, that doesn't say click here.
No.
A red bar, first of all, to me says don't click here.
I don't know what that means.
And set doesn't necessarily mean to me, this is, click here so you can set it.
Set it?
And,
what?
That's the sort of thing they do wrong. It should just say click here to set your plan.
Well, the thing...
It's that sort of stuff. You don't understand what you're supposed to do, and you think you're stuck. Twice I went, there's a little thing that says live chat. So twice I went on and said, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And within, I'd say, 3 minutes, and it said immediately when somebody was answering me, they're typing, and so I knew that they were coming on and explain your problem. I did, and she said, that's how you choose your plan. I clicked on. Twice I did that. Now, the reason that I did not find a plan is because Missouri is not sponsoring anything. So, we have 2 volunteer companies that are agreeing to, under the federal plan to serve Missouri, and so that's not very much competition with which to drive down rates.
Right.
And B, only one of them covers the major hospital system, which is the Washington University Medical System.
Well, so
I automatically could only choose for one plan, and then here's the part that I thought was funny.
And wait. I just want to clarify, and. So Obamacare or the Affordable Care Act ain't working real well for you because
my state is not participating.
And your state is not participating by virtue of the Supreme Court, which, while upholding the act as constitutional, said, however, this mandate that all states must set up exchanges and blah, 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 and raise Medicaid enrollment
and take federal money. We said no.
And that's right. But the way the health care reform was created, that was not there. It's the Supreme Court that allowed Republican
No,
states.
right. The Supreme Court took away my right to the free enterprise, positive results of competition.
Right. They said if you live in a red state, your chances are you're not going to get much.
But that said, even in my state, for people that would have no insurance, these are not gold-plated plans or by any means, and that's why I could only look at one plan, and they didn't even offer close to what I paid too much for, but I wasn't going to screw with it.
Right.
But if you have no insurance, and the first thing that you do is I skipped the whole eligibility for federal stuff because I figured I wouldn't get it. But once you get through that, and I just think there's absolutely no reason not to do it. This is affordable insurance for everybody, even in my state.
I got to tell you.
And what really upsets me is no one's talking to people like me. I mean, all they're highlighting is all these problems. Well, there's a lot of us that just sort of sailed right on. So if anybody's discouraged, just go ahead and try.
Okay.
And don't try at noon and at 5 o'clock or on weekends when everybody else is trying.
But it could be that's the only time. Well, so set the alarm for 2 a.m.
Set the alarm for 5 a.m.
Oh, God. And do it then.
Yeah.
But, I mean, so this Republican obsession to scuttle this law is so multifaceted that even though, we went through the government shutdown and all of that, and it didn't work for them. They ostensibly did it to defund the Affordable Care Act. The fact is they're fighting on so many different levels, and John Roberts handed them this gift of if you want to scuttle it state by state, if you want to throw a wrench in the works, you can do so. And but it's interesting how some Republican states, like I don't know if you saw in the paper today, how in Ohio they've got a conservative Republican governor, and they are a red state. Their legislature is Republican controlled. They did not.
But apparently they aren't stupid.
He's not stupid. He's not stupid. And so he's apparently made a total. He told the legislature, well, screw you. I am expanding on my own. I'm doing this. And apparently, I mean, it'll be challenged as, that he doesn't have the authority to do so. But he says he's doing it because of his Christian principles.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or if he's a smart politician, he was up for re-election, by the way. So maybe that's it, and he's made the calculation that this will get him some Democratic votes or independent votes or whatever. But you also have like the Republican governor of what's her name, Arizona, who got in immediately, right?
Because when push comes to shove, all that money is all that money.
Yeah. Yes.
And it's good for the state's economy.
Right.
Duh.
And
if you aren't so busy taking orders from the yahoos that are busy telling all Republicans that it's good for them to cut off their nose to spite their face.
Okay, so Suze...
Yes. Anyway, I just wanted to say that a lot of this, as usual, is media hype. And the other thing I want to say is pick up the phone and call. You don't have to go online.
That's true. You can do it
just
on the phone.
Just pick up the phone and call.
Right, whatever. But the media likes...
The media likes to create... the media likes to help the Republicans. That's all I can say.
Well, the Republicans would... allege otherwise, but the media
they just keep reporting the Republicans.
They just like
snark.
strife because they like strife. I mean, nobody watches happy people. People you want to watch. We're the nation of constant outrage. So here is something out of Texas, that wonderful state. I really wish they would secede.
I do. I'm thinking the same thing. Mexico doesn't want them.
Oh, no, Mexico doesn't want them, but they just can be their own country. Let them. Just go. And then watch the migrants head over the Texas border into Oklahoma and everybody,
Help, run for your lives!
Right. So a judge in San Antonio, Republican judge, Carlo Key, has written this rather long statement leaving the Republican Party. And I'm just going to read one little paragraph here. He's going to run for election again, but he's running as a Democrat. He said, "I cannot tolerate a political party that demeans Texans based on their sexual orientation, the color of their skin, or their economic status. I will not be a member of a party in which hate speech elevates candidates for higher office rather than disqualifying them. I cannot place my name on the ballot for a political party that is proud to destroy the lives of hundreds of thousands of federal workers over a vain attempt to repeal a law that will provide health care to millions of people throughout our country." That's just part of his statement.
Good for him.
He was a Republican.
Yeah, well, more Republicans should do that.
Amazing.
I mean, the Democrats have moderated stances to the point that they are moderate Republicans at this point anyway.
Yeah, tell me about it. Oh, no, there's communists. I don't know how... You see, Susan, I don't know. You're out of your mind. Hey, did you see the hullabaloo over the postage stamp?
No.
No, the U.S. Postal Service. They put out a stamp trying to get behind, the First Lady's having kids get exercise and keep moving and stuff.
Oh, no. And so it's really an anti-Michelle Obama.
No. It's even funnier. I think it comes from the left. I mean, if we were to put this on a spectrum. There are a number of complaints. They've pulled the stamps because the illustrations on the stamps depicted children playing. And, Susan, the children were playing, like, for instance, skateboarding, and they didn't have knee pads on. I agree. You can't. And then it said, and they were shown cannonballing into the water and doing headstands without a helmet. Well, I should hope so.
Well, what do you mean headstands without a helmet? How can you do headstands on a helmet?
Or have you ever seen anyone in a swimming pool with a helmet on? Cannonballing into the water without a helmet?
Well,
who are these
depending
people?
On how much the damn helmet weighs, it'll drown you.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that I always stand up for the Postal Service because the Republicans hate it so much. And I got to say, I am really pissed off at the Postal Service for backing away.
For capitulating.
Oh,
my God, you can't have a stamp with it. Look at that little boy on the skateboard. He's not wearing knee pads, elbow pads, bubble wrap. Dad, what are you trying to do? Kill our children?
Oh, dear God in heaven. So those are the wackos on the other side. Those aren't Republicans. Would you agree?
I would agree.
Jeez. Those are the wackos on the other side. Our side of the fence. And I cannot stand them. I think last week I was talking about there are 2 schools. There was one in Maine or something and another on Long Island who have banned the playing of baseball and tag and football at recess.
Because kids were falling down and getting hurt.
You know, it's amazing to me that they won't do anything to stop, like, real bullying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But
Here we go.
A little rough tag is too much for everybody.
Yes. Isn't that something?
It's always so easy to default to the easy.
Right.
They just default to the ridiculous,
Yeah.
and they walk away from the obvious.
Mm-hmm. Chuck, by the way, writes, this is his experience of healthcare.gov. He says, I think it's important for people to know that if they're just shopping for health insurance, they don't have to create an account at healthcare.gov to simply shop and get a ballpark estimate. You simply visit the website and answer at most maybe 5 questions. If you're curious, I can get, he said, he's telling me about his, I can get a silver plan from Highmark for my family of 4. Me, my wife, 2 daughters, for $452 per month. Wow.
I'm telling people,
but that's probably
it's
got
worth
a
it
big...
to go and look. And once you find out, depending on your income status and the size of your family, once you find out how much the government might be willing to offset you, it's even more affordable. But, in places where, there's really competition, the rates are tumbling, and they're offering a much wider range of coverage.
Mm-hmm. He's not taking these plans. He says, we decided to continue to get our insurance from his wife's employer, although he said the last time he tried to get insurance before Obamacare, a similar plan to the silver plan that was $452 a month, priced out at over $1,000 a month.
Right.
So, wow. Oh, but it's awful. It's just horrible. It's going to destroy the country. As are children skateboarding without knee pads and children cannonballing into swimming pools without helmets. I have to take a break.
More with Lynn Cullen live after this.
Packers.
Vikings.
We come from different places.
Uptown.
Downtown.
We come to different conclusions.
Half empty.
Half full.
But when we live united, we make a real difference in the building blocks of life. Children succeed in school, families gain financial stability, the health of our neighbors improves, and suddenly so do our communities. Real change won't happen without you.
Live United.
So give, advocate, volunteer, live united. Sign up today at liveunited.org. Brought to you by United Way and the Ad Council.
Les Ludwig, your independent, self-financed, clean candidate for mayor of Pittsburgh. You've heard the saying, same old. If we don't change what we're doing, we can only expect the same results. Let's look at what the Democratic Party leadership of your lifetime is asking you to do on Election Day. They want you to forget that they and Ravenstall have not lived up to minority contracts and the jobs involved in it. If government promises work and jobs and wants to leave it for the next candidate, will it ever get done? How can we trust Peduto and especially the leadership when they continue to act this way? Are they hiding something worse than Harper's misdeeds? Vote November 5th and remember, same old. Embrace change and work willingly with it. Think outside the party's box. Make Les Ludwig your mayor and join his march to clean government and keeping promises.
This week's Pittsburgh City Paper Best of Pittsburgh 2013 is available now. Pick up one today for the results of our annual readers poll. Plus, Bare Naked Ladies, Dylan Moran, and the Pittsburgh Opera's Aida, and News of the Weird. Pittsburgh City Paper's Best of Pittsburgh 2013. Available at over 1,700 locations throughout Western Pennsylvania. And on the web at pghcitypaper.com. And on your smartphone with GPS-enabled music, event, and restaurant, and Best of Pittsburgh listings at citypapermobile.com.
Now, it's back to Lynn Cullen Live at pghcitypaper.com.
Okie doke. Hey, Susan, a few weeks ago I was watching, I keep hearing about this ABC show Scandal with Kerry Washington. Everybody's always...
Yeah, I haven't seen it. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I just don't watch.
I don't watch... I don't
Yeah.
watch TV very much,
Right.
I have to say.
So anyway, I thought, I can't remember why, I was on ABC and I saw that it was coming on and I thought, oh, well, let me check this out since everybody's raving about it, even though I don't know what the hell's going on here. But it was well written. I mean, I was thinking, gee, that's, this is well done. I can see why people are blah, blah, blah. And then it started up. During the show, Susan, and maybe this happens on a lot of shows, and this shows how out of it I am. On the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, they have little figures darting up and down.
No. It's not figures. It's texts from viewers.
Oh, it's tweets.
Not tweets. Messages. Right? Is it it's text? Anyway, it would be text. I mean, you can text your reaction to what just happened on the screen. Oh, she told so-and-so. And then there's this, you send a text, and whoever is handling it on the other end, who might really like what you said and this and that, it pops up there. So that somebody, so-and-so in Phoenix says, blah, 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 blah. I mean, yes, they are tweets in that they're little teeny things, that few characters and stuff. But reacting, well, you know what? As I looked at it, I thought, oh no. I mean,
it's the equivalent to talking in a theater.
Well, I don't
It
want
is. It's what's the difference? It's subtitles. It's distracting. It's like sitting next to somebody that's whispering all through a movie.
Yeah. It's somebody who I don't know's opinion about something that just happened, and I'm watching in my own home, and frankly, I don't care what they think. Now, sometimes maybe I do. Maybe somebody says something really brilliant that hadn't occurred to me, but it's sort of like forcing you to watch a show with a bunch of people that you don't know.
Right.
Talking, as you said, only doing it. Very odd, and I suspect that this is just the beginning of what will be a more interactive thing that's going to be
maybe, but there's always a backlash. I just want to point out that my children and their friends are all busily buying record players.
Yeah, I know. It's amazing how young people love records.
I know, and one of my friends just gave me all of her LPs, and I called my kids and I said, I'm holding them in my basement until you can go through them, and then I'm donating them to the library. And boy, did they scavenge.
I bet. Oh, my kid would love to get into that. And
it's fun.
He went nuts when he saw. I threw out most of mine maybe about 15 years ago or something, but kept ones that I just couldn't. And many of those I've now hung on my wall, as I think you know, because I just love all the memories they bring, and the album covers are so wonderful, and blah, 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 blah.
We still have most of ours.
Yeah.
Although my guesses are my kids have quietly started stealing them.
Ripping them off. But my son says, what are you doing? You mean you are storing these like this, and I'm storing them like they were stacked in a pile.
Right.
Oh my God, he said. I was doing something terrible. I was over time, I don't know, squashing the records. I don't know what's so bad that they have to be stored standing. And then when he saw the state of my LPs, when he actually pulled one out, he was just appalled.
They have peanut butter and jelly on them?
Well, no, snap, crackle, and pop. I mean, I don't know. They're just scratched, and I never we didn't take care of records, did we?
No. If they got really bad, you just bought it again.
Bought it again, I guess. What spoiled brats we were. But no, they're all. But I don't know. Okay, so that's not what we were talking about. Okay, so CNN poll says 54% of Americans think that it is bad for the country if Republicans continue to control the House. Ooh.
Well, you got, what is it, Kathleen Parker saying you couldn't give the Republican House, the responsibility to deliver milk. How could you?
Yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens next time people go to vote, because this will all be forgotten, perhaps.
Well, I thought it was very interesting, that just to look at the way my state, voted to end the nonsense. And I have Claire McCaskill and I have Roy Blunt in the Senate, so 1-1. Mm-hmm. And they both voted the right way to stop this. To stop this stupidity.
We did. We had 1-1, and our Republican voted against it.
Really? Ours voted,
yeah.
Yeah, but everybody, everybody around my neck of the woods in the House voted the wrong way, and it's amazing. It's amazing to me.
Yeah. Well, they think they're right. They think they're right. Anyway, these polls are, would be giving Republicans, I would think, some pause to say the least.
As Buffett said this morning, he said, we have nuclear bombs and we have chemical weapons, but we don't use them. And just like those, this is the equivalent of the nuclear option. You should never, ever just bring the country to this for amusement.
Yeah. It's true.
And he's right.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, sure. Well, eat that. So these kids who've grown up bubble wrapped and elbow padded and knee padded and helmeted is the first generation also who turn 16 and don't give a damn about learning how to drive. And I wonder if that's connected.
Well, I think we are really, we are so prolonging childhood is what we're doing, and it's a combination of parents not wanting to let their children, parents not understanding that their job is to create human beings that can stand up and walk away
that
from
go
them.
Away, right, exactly.
And I mean, they just don't get the concept, apparently. But we are prolonging their childhood, so we are also creating laws that put so much burden on both the parent and the child that, over a period of years that they just go, it's not worth it. I'll wait until I'm 21 and I can just take my driver's license. That's part of it.
Well, but they're simply not doing. So the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention actually has looked in to the percentage of people graduating from high school now who can't drive, and it's a much higher percentage than it has ever been.
Oh, and I'll tell you what else it is. It's that high schools used to have driver's ed, and that was one of the first things to get cut when education budgets started to get slashed.
Yeah. But a huge segment of them say the reason they haven't gotten a driver's license is they're able to get rides from other people, like their mommies, I suppose, or a friend or two that, or they say they're too busy They haven't had time. Now, it is so alien to us who, couldn't wait to get behind the wheel, to have that independence. So, because obviously a car does give you independence, and not having a license makes you dependent, able to get transportation from others. That makes you a dependent person. By 16, back in the day, we didn't want to be dependent on anyone.
No,
we wanted to be
at
independent.
16, on your 16th birthday, you were free.
A little. And then on your 18th, you were more free. And then on your 21st, right. But here's somebody who's looked at the data and says, I believe that a large part of this drop in kids having driver's license is permanent. It's not just teenagers anymore. It's people in their 20s and 30s as well. When we asked people when they plan to get a driver's license, 22% of all respondents said never.
Well, that's good for the planet. I mean, my guess is that 80% of that 22% live in urban areas.
Live in New York or in places or Chicago that
where
have
you don't need it.
If there's good public transit, yeah. But what happens if they get a job and then they get, end up in some regular little ordinary city that doesn't have a huge... I would imagine it's much harder to learn how to drive in your 30s than it is in your teens. Wouldn't you think? Because we just get more scared. Don't you think it's true?
I guess.
I mean, we know it's harder to learn how to swim or how to ride a bike as you get older, don't you think?
Yeah.
Well, then why wouldn't it be?
Well, driving is a relatively easy thing to do.
They also think there are people who say a lot of people, young people, aren't getting because they don't live in the physical world as much as they live on the internet.
Right.
And you don't have to drive a car on the internet.
Well, but that is true. If we wanted to hang out with our friends after school, one of the ways to do that was to get in your car and hang out at somebody's house because you had one phone line into the house and you couldn't tie it up for 6 hours without everybody being aggravated at you.
Oh,
so
yes, you
together.
did. You tied it up. But, yeah, I get your point. It's true. They can go online. So the internet has something to do with it. The sort of generalized dependence and infantilizing of our children ad nauseum has something to do with it. But I don't think of mass transit in this country generally as being great. So, unlike Europe.
I don't think of St. Louis as having a great transportation system, but there is a light rail system to some extent that wasn't here when I went to college.
Right.
When I was at Washington University, the campus was my world, and you weren't allowed to have a car, and that was it. You were stuck there. Now, car or no car, rapid transit takes these kids, into the city or out into the burbs, and it's very nice, knowing they don't need a car.
Well, I know this drives our mother nuts because she thinks that driving is one of those life skills that everybody needs to know, as she thinks of swimming. I don't know, riding. I mean, that in fact they could save a life. I mean, if you're the only person who could drive a car and you don't know how to drive the car in a situation where somebody's got to drive a car, that's sort of an inexcusable inability, and that it's one of the things you need to know how to do. I agree with her. Don't you?
I do too.
Well,
it's handicapping. I mean, it's handicapping not to know.
Okay.
People don't encourage you. There's these rules now where the parent has to be in the car for X number of hours, and they only before they can get this kind of, driver's license, and then you can only have one other person in the car for another year and a half and then you get this kind of license. And I think everybody just goes, ugh.
To hell with it.
Yeah.
Well, that might be part of it too. Yeah, that might be part of it too. I don't know. I think it's...
Of course, not in my state. In my state, they don't have any of those government interfere rules.
The state of misery. Well, you got this big, we don't have time to talk about it, but you've got this case, somewhat like the Steubenville case. This.
Yeah.
And again, this was made into a story because of Anonymous and these hackers and an internet campaign. Do we have a call? Okay, wait, let me get a caller in here. Don't try to knock Susan off. Carlo. Oh, you might have. Hello? Hello? Caller?
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. I just want to you're talking about the car business with 20-year-olds, and I had something that put in. My daughter is about the same age as your son, and we live in the city.
Uh-huh.
And she did not get her driver's license until she was 20 years old.
Wow.
And it wasn't because she didn't want it. Hello?
Yeah, why was it?
It was because we live in the city. She couldn't get much driving in because we don't drive very far on a regular basis. And when she went to take the test, she had to go all the way out in the suburbs to take the test. By the time she went to take the test the first time at 17 and a half, her hair was purple. She failed the test within 20 seconds when the guy in the suburbs saw her because she didn't look like all the other kids out there. And then she went again and got the same exact guy who failed her before she even got out of the parking lot to do the parallel parking. And yet she's the best parallel parker I've ever seen in my life because she lives in the city and has to parallel park every time she drives.
I don't know. My kid kept flunking the test.
We ended up going all the way to Greensburg.
That's where I went.
Take the test.
And she passed. That's right. So I said, let's get out of this place because you were probably where I was in Monroeville or something. And then we went to Greensburg.
We were actually in North Hills. But,
okay. And he passed.
Yeah, passed first time, flying colors.
Yeah. No problem.
The guy said, she's a great driver. Let her have the keys. But
go figure.
So there's a lot of things going on there that have to do with this driving, and she wanted to, wasn't able to.
Okay. Well, I'm glad she can drive. This is good. Thank you.
Oh, I was thrilled when she could drive.
Yeah, really.
Here's the keys. Go away.
Yeah, you go. Hey, Mom, can you get it yourself? Here's the keys. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Hey, have a good day.
You too. Bye. Susan, are you there?
I am.
Oh, okay. I didn't. Carlo, well done. Jess isn't here today, and Carlo's standing in, and Susan will attest to the fact that
I'm hung up on regularly.
Regularly by when I was in control. I mean, it became a shtick. If you weren't hung up on, something had obviously gone wrong.
No, and I can hear everybody today, too.
Wow, that's amazing. Ooh, that's amazing. Who knows? So, okay, Suze, we're out of time anyway.
Yeah, we are.
Okay, well, go Cardinals. I know not everybody here probably is rude, but
I know. I am. You don't have to.
No, I am. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. And you guys, bye too. Got an interesting guest tomorrow. Don't have time to tell you what, but it's interesting. Has to do with fear and media creating fear and connected to Orson Welles' War of the World. It's really interesting tomorrow.
Lynn Cullen Live, Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. and archived at pghcitypaper.com. The opinions expressed on Lynn Cullen Live are those of the host and do not necessarily reflect the viewpoints of Pittsburgh City Paper, Steel City Media, and its advertisers.